Any Given Sunday sports special. It's me, Jesus. I'm here. We are back. I got my two boys with me, Steve and Anthony. Fellas, welcome
What's
back.
what's going on? It's been too long. Too long.
Anthony, I know you there somewhere.
It's been a long time. Should have left you without a dope
Yeah.
beat. Step two.
I
Step two.
it sounds like the defending champ is kind of happy right now. You hear him? You hear him over there?
Clicking my heels.
I don't blame him for being happy.
First and foremost, Anthony, congratulations. I believe this is back-to-back championships. Props to you, my man. Am I wrong?
Wait. You hear that sound?
Yeah, that's the crowd cheering.
No, that wasn't cloud cheering. That was me clicking my heels.
Oh, man. So,
Enjoy.
okay, before we even get to the show, Anthony, are you going to say it? Three-peat.
Yes.
Say it.
No, because I didn't say anything the past couple years. So why am I going to say something
Well,
now?
you just
I'm gonna
said
let
yes,
this
you
run.
would say it. But you just say yes, you would say it.
Okay, yeah, three-peat. Cool. Three-peat.
Oh, you gotta love the confidence in
Called
this
it.
man. You gotta love the confidence. Anyways, fellas, it's so good to be back. We have a lot to get into. We're in the off season right now. We're now starting to get ready to get into the real nitty gritty. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break down teams for you guys. We're gonna go and we're gonna give you what you currently have, what you should be doing, what you should be looking for. There's a ton of different things. Also, at the end of this episode, I'm going to have something I'm going to throw out to the league. It's not a guarantee of a change, but it is something that is being considered, and it's being considered very, very strongly. So I just want to let the league know about that. It's something that we strongly think probably will be happening. But let's get right into the teams. So let's start with the rookies. What do you guys think, right? Rookies should go first, get them out the way since, they're rooks.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to
agree.
start from the rookies, then the bottom of the barrels, then all the way up to the champ.
Right. So, Steve, my man, I'm going to give you the floor. You always lead the way. Lead it, bruh.
All right, so let's go with this kid named Sean Moore, the new guy into the league, coming in with $145. Picks that he took. He has Drew Brees for $21, has Mark Ingram for $21 this year, even though Mark Ingram's price is $1. He used the I'm assuming the
Attacks.
the tag for that.
Yep.
The tax. And then he has Julian Edelman for 13. So about cash of 145. For me, it's not the worst situation, but it's pretty close because the problem I see with this roster is he has big money. I mean, he's eating up essentially a large portion of his cap on 3 players, and unfortunately, none of them are really that big. You have Drew Brees, who's let's be honest, he's half of his career, very late back half. There's no more Brandon Cooks there. He's gone. I get it. They have other options that they wanted to use, and that's why they felt they can get rid of Brandon Cooks. But I think that's actually going to hurt Drew Brees this year. And then I get why he stuck with Mark Ingram, but Ingram didn't really do anything last year. And to me, I don't think he's worth the $21 anymore. My perspective. And then you have Julian Edelman, but guess what? Edelman has to now deal with Brandon Cooks, who's now over at the Patriots. So, you know what I'm saying? So then he has 145 to spend it. And when you start looking at the big board and who's available, Bell's not there. Johnson's not there. Elliott's not there. Brown's not there. Odell Beckham Jr., he's going to get priced out. Julio Jones, most likely going to get priced out. McCoy's not there. Evans is not there. So you start looking down, you start seeing A.J. Green gone, Nelson gone, Gordon gone, Freeman gone, Hilton gone. So he's going to have $145 and really, he's going to have to overspend on guys like an Amari Cooper that gets out there, or, a Leonard Fournette, and take a chance on a rookie. And I find it very tough. I find it that he's in a very difficult spot to build the team. He's going to have to do a lot of research and a lot of homework. And from what we've seen, typically, fellas, rookies don't do well in their first year of the league. It typically takes like a 2-year learning curve. I mean, we've had some examples where some guys have had that experience, but this is you know how this is, man. This is a completely different world. This is not your standard fantasy league. You know, the keepers and the influx of tax makes you have to think about things differently. I just don't know if he can adjust, and I feel like it's going to be a long road for this kid.
Ooh, this Sean, if you're listening to this, he just called you a kid. But don't worry about it. You know, oh my goodness gracious, he said it again. He said it again. Oh Lord, Anthony, my man, go ahead, bro. Before I pounce, I want you to get it.
What is there to pounce about? He comes in yapping. He's on a group text. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Exactly.
You have $145. You have an old quarterback, a wide receiver who's in like, you know, this communist offense, and then you have the running back that's teamed up with the quarterback with a team that just signed Adrian Peterson. So I don't know what his love is for the guy. I don't know why.
That's true. I totally forgot about that. That's true.
Well, remember when he originally got Ingram, Peterson was not on the team at that moment.
You're right.
Right, but even at that time,
but he's still got to deal with that now.
Fact.
Yeah, but move him. Then move him. If you know,
he's trying to. He announced it in the chat. But he announced it in the chat. He's trying to move him.
You can cut him.
People would have been more, but he was popping big game. People probably more receptive. Became slightly more humble. Not a lot, but just a little bit more humble, and maybe like, okay, he's a good guy. Let's try to work with him. But he's like, nah. I got this. I'm gonna run this league. He of AGS. He's LeVar Ball.
Whoa! Wow! All right.
Chest out.
This is just nonsense. This is just nonsense. Are you done? Are you done? Or are you going to speak some education here?
You know what? You teach me, because apparently me and Steve agree. You feel differently.
Oh, I absolutely. I'm not saying I feel differently in the sense that he's going to win. Let's not get crazy now. All right, but I have to make some corrections and some inaccuracies that Steve is preaching. Steve, you're in midseason form already with your inaccuracies, bruh. It's in midseason form. You gotta love it. So here we go. Let's get right to it. Steve says, "Oh, well, Drew Brees, you know, he's a guy that he's on the downfall. He doesn't have a real superstar." Do you know Drew Brees, according to our scoring system, was the number 3 fantasy football quarterback last year? Just saying. So if that's a downfall, then I mean,
3, but he had Brandon Cooks on his team.
But Brandon Cooks wasn't even. Did you see what Brandon Cooks did last year? He wasn't that great. Do you know who did contribute?
Over 1,000 yards.
You know who did contribute? A guy by the name of Mike Thomas. Yeah, and he's still on the team. Last I checked. And then now there's a running game that actually has to be respected. Then Steve went ahead and he preached some other falsities, if that's even a word. But I'm going to create a word. I'm going to put a Stephen A. Smith. The audacity for you to go ahead and say that Mark Ingram. Now, Anthony was right when he said Mark Ingram's not going to be good because of Adrian Peterson. But Steve, you didn't use that example. Your words were Mark Ingram was just not good last year. Mark Ingram was the number, according to our scoring system, which is what matters, was number 11 fantasy football running back in our league last year.
Well, it may be 11, but I mean 21 in that type of offense, and he's just not good. I've never liked Mark Ingram. He
was number 11 last year. So again, if I'm using your words, which is last year. Now again, if you want to say this year because of Peterson, I can't argue that. You're 100% right, Steve. But your words were last year he wasn't good. The dude was number 11. He was okay. Number 11.
Yeah.
How many? Okay, you my friend. How would you have won a championship last year if you'd have had Mark Ingram? Or at least made it to the championship?
No.
Get out of here. Get out of here. You would have had a much better chance of making it. You would have had a much better chance of making it. So, with all of that being said, now I'm going to give some good advice, right? Because that's what I'm here for. I'm a man of the people. That's what I do. I help everyone. I give charity. So, here's what you need to do, Sean. You need to number one, first and foremost, try to move Mark Ingram. Obviously, right? That's the most logical thing. If you can't move Mark Ingram, What you then need to do is you need to cut Julian Edelman. Do not keep Julian Edelman, because then by releasing Julian Edelman, this isn't a points per reception league. On top of that, the Patriots have a ton of targets out there. So you cut Julian Edelman. Now all of a sudden Mark Ingram is $1 for you, because there is no tax, because you're keeping two guys. So you go into the season only spending $22, which means you're at $178 with Mark Ingram and Drew Brees. And then at that point, if you want to sell Mark Ingram, now you can get value for him, because even if you sell him for 15, you're still making a profit of 14.
Mm-hmm.
That's the advice. That's how you help rookies out, fellas. That's how you do it. Go ahead, rebuttal. I'm listening.
Hold up. No. See, we got money in this league. I ain't helping out nobody. He paid his money. He don't need no advice. He an adult. This ain't 18 and under.
That's the whole point of the show.
No. This point of the show is to sometime advise, mostly talk what we talk, do what we do. If he paying his money, he not getting no advice. That's what he got ESPN for. Go check what they say. Not here.
Look, I mean, I don't think it's worth giving him advice. I mean, obviously he's got to put a roster together. He's got to be able to put a roster, and we don't know if he can do that. We don't know if he's going to go big, two big wide receivers. We don't know if he favors running backs. We don't know if he's going to do with a 2 quarterback set or a 3 quarterback set. We don't know this guy's style. So he's a big question mark. So as far as like saying like, oh, he's going to go this way or that way, I mean, I think he's going to be shocked when he tries to go after an Odell Beckham Jr., which I would see if he goes your route, Jesus, he'll likely try to play in that arena to try to get one of those top guys.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Still available.
Agreed.
You know, I see that being a possibility, and he probably does do that, because I think Julian Edelman, I agree with you, and I said that, like, Julian Edelman is, I mean, he should get rid of him, because it's $13 that he could save right there.
This isn't a PPR league. Yeah, it's not a PPR
apply
league.
that to somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, but then when you start looking out there, I mean, once you get to Odell Beckham Jr., the next available receiver that's going to hit the board is going to be Dez Bryant, who's the 8th best receiver. Then after that, Michael Thomas, which he could go after, but then he has too many New Orleans guys, so that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, if he does that, he has to move Ingram. So you're right about that. If he does that, Ingram's got to go. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So then you look at the next guy, who's Amari Cooper, and again, he's going to be paying a pretty price, because even though Amari Cooper's ranked number 10 right now, I tend to feel that there are probably a lot of people who have them higher on their board than what ESPN has. So he's going to be paying a premium price to try to get a wide receiver. And it just really depends on how he spends money on his running backs, because is he going to try to take the chance on a guy like a Marshawn Lynch or something like that? Or is he going to go, a little bit lower and try those guys that, nobody's ever heard of, that are up and coming guys like, Leonard Fournette, you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. We don't know what's in his mind or what's in Sean's mind. This is really going to be telling. I just think that he will most likely, and I'm just basing this solely on history, he's probably going to get a power 3, power 4, spend his money on the top half of the draft, and then try to pick up key pieces in the back half. I just don't know if he's good enough to find those gems for $1, $2, and I think that's the difference on why I think it's going to be a 2-year learning curve. Okay. That's just my opinion.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I think we spent enough time on Sean. Sean, I think, is going to be one of Steve's favorites because he trash talks. And Sean, I'm going to tell you, one of Steve's things is if you're going to trash talk when you're winning, he wants you to trash talk when you're losing, which never has made any logical sense. But that's how Steve is. So you'll learn to love him, even though he called you the kid. So that's going to be interesting.
He is. He's the kid on the block. He's the kid in the East. He's got to prove himself.
He's in your division.
Honestly,
no, he's in my division, right?
East,
he's in mine, yeah.
No, he's in your division.
Yeah.
So the East is going to either be a cakewalk or it's going to be decent.
Okay.
I hate to say it. It's going to all depend on him.
All right.
It's all going to depend
on him. Fair enough.
If he shows up and he shows he's a viable team, then I will give respect to the East. But until he does that, the East is a cakewalk. You know what I mean? There's only 3 teams there that really have a viable shot. Then, for the other 2, I mean, I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Oh, my goodness gracious. You are just brutal. But all right, let's get to it. Come on. Let's get to it. Next one, Gabe.
All right.
Go ahead, Steve.
Gabriel. All right, so correct me if I'm wrong. He's in the West.
Yes, he's in your division.
He is in really good cash shape. He has $219 in cash. He got Cam Newton via Anthony.
Yes.
And he has Sterling Shepard, who I think is a great wide receiver for $3.
Yes.
So he's got $219. He's in optimal spot. I think Gabriel has shown that he can draft. We've seen it in another league. So with this guy, I have a little bit of history, and I think his first year in the big leagues of AGS are going to be much different than the other guy that we spoke of. And I think with him I think Gabe's going to really look out there, look at the board, and see what's available. I do think Gabe's going to most likely probably go after 1 or 2 big guys. But he's going to be smart about it. He's not going to overspend. At least I don't think. And the 219 buffer, especially when you have 2 in the bag, is really easy. It just puts you in a much more favorable spot. He's now has a chance where he can at least start talking to guys who are trying to move a player. He's got the cash money to buy from, let's say any one of us who have some extra players that we want, that we're not unsure of or whatever. I think, Sterling Shepard is it's kind of tricky because, it makes sense for him to go after Odell Beckham Jr., but I mean, he also has Sterling Shepard. So I don't know if he'll actually do it. I know I probably would and find a home for Sterling Shepard or try to sell him. I mean, that's what I would do in order to play with the Odell Beckham Jr. chip. But if not, I mean, he's still in a good place. He can still go after Julio Jones. He can still go after Des Bryant. He can get a nice running back towards the top as well. And I think who's out there for running back? Leonard Fournette's out there. Marshawn Lynch maybe. But again, I think if it makes sense to me that he's probably going to go after receiver first because the big name receivers are going to be out there. There's a lot more receivers out there since last year. After receiver and locked him up, they couldn't keep him this year. Me being one of them, with Amari Cooper being out there now, the Powers being another with Odell Beckham Jr. So I just feel like because it's a heavier receiver market, he's probably going to get one of those 2 big receivers, find value in the running back position, try to find a guy there. Or he buys a running back from a team, an established team, and goes from that route. So I think he's in a much better spot. It just depends. I don't really know his thinking, but from what I've seen last year when he constructed his team in the other league, he typically finds pretty good value, and I think he's going to find the way to do that this time around.
Anthony, what you got?
Look, I won last year because everybody else, and I spent my money intelligently. Now we've upped the league again. We've gotten back home. We've put the numbers where they're supposed to be. The question that you run into is that you have money, and it's great because I've done this in the past. I've had money, and sometimes got a little gun shy with it. Sometimes you worry about it. Mm-hmm. If you have this much cap, if there's a guy you want, get him. You don't think about it. You don't worry about it. You figure it out, especially when, like I said, there's a lot of good wide receivers out there. Formidable running backs that can definitely help out your team. Now, is he thinking Beckham? Possibly. We don't know what's going on with Julio Jones. Does he go back out there? Maybe, maybe not.
I think so.
But the thing, I think so too. But I think the thing that you worry about, what I worry about with Gabe, is that he wants to make sure that you try to win every year. But like I said, this is like a kind of a hybrid league. So you definitely want to make sure that you invest wisely now and in the future. So I mean, don't blow your budget getting guys that are going to load your team up now. Then you got to cut them all next year and restart the process. You want to hopefully get somebody young, cheap. Get a big piece next year. Get somebody young, like Jesus did. He has his lineup, he has his pieces, and they're all set. So therefore, he doesn't need to worry. He just needs to get this guy, that guy, this guy, and maybe not even that with the quality of his roster. Right now, the thing with Gabe that he has a blank slate. That you can do whatever you want. The worst thing you can do is that you can do whatever you want. Other people, including myself, have not done great with money, and some people have. And you see them spend it on players. Like, what in the world are you doing? Did someone spend like more than $1 on a kicker recently? No, I did that.
I did. Gostowski.
I did too.
I did. I'll take the hit on that.
$5.
No. But it wasn't like, let me put. We're not doing that. We're not going whole crazy, half crazy, sure, but not whole crazy. I think Gabe cards right, and he gets 1 or 2 big pieces, and he manages the rest of his money properly. I think he'll be fine. We almost have to look at this league like a stock market. You want to buy cheap so they get high, but the price never rises. You don't want to buy this high ass blue chip stock, and all of a sudden you're stuck with it, and all of a sudden a guy gets hurt or something else happens or he doesn't have that great of a season, then you're basically throwing your money away. Nobody wants to do that. You want to plan accordingly. And I think right now, between now and the draft, he'll have more than enough time to make a right and informed decision. I think, like I said, you mentioned Lynch. We mentioned some of the wide receivers. If you can get a nice combo of that, maybe even another quarterback. Like I said, Cam's coming back from an injury. Mm-hmm. There's always quarterbacks out there. If you can find a nice, good, decent one just in case something happens, because a lot of points are from the quarterback position. If he's not healthy, then you're worried. Yeah. But do I think Gabe's going to do?
And I think he will. He'll find another quarterback.
Yeah. I don't, because I think there's so many. You will make sure you find one that I can put him in, and I'm not going to worry about it too much. But I think Gabe is going to do a terrific job. I think first year he got his feet wet. He knows how it goes and everything else like that. You see how the draft goes, how the money can go from nothing to something in the blink of an eye. You got to be careful there, but I think because it's his second time around the block, he's going to get it. He's going to be fine. But Zeus, this is your guy.
Yep,
all right. Your guy.
This is your guy.
This is it. This is my dude. This is my little man's right here. That's what I call him, my little man's. Yep. So it's very simple. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be very, very, very honest with the league. I've helped him. I've helped prepare him. I've helped mold him. I've helped shape him. Whether it's in this league, whether it's in the other league. So I will not deny that. I absolutely have given him advice, and I will continue to give him advice. That will not change until he is just a tad bit below me. I never give him enough where he's better than me, but just a tad bit below me. I will continue to give him advice, right? So the Cam Newton deal, let's start off with that. To me, that was absolute genius. I mean, just listen to the type of deal that he got. He bought Cam Newton from Anthony for $13, but if Cam Newton, I believe, doesn't play in any of the first 2 preseason games, his price goes from $13 to $11. Which is, people think $2 is $2, but $2 is something. That could make or break you bidding on a guy. Then we add the fact of Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard for $3. Sterling Shepard's not going to probably be a breakout this year. Realistically, he's not going to be, right? But Brandon Marshall isn't going to be there forever. So what happens now is Sterling Shepard's going to probably play out of the slot, which is where he's best at anyways. Who's going to get the attention there? The attention is going to go to Odell. Attention is going to go to Brandon Marshall, which means the slot guy is the one that's guarding Sterling Shepard. That is a lot better than last year when the number 2 corner was guarding Shepard throughout the games. Sometimes even the number 1 was guarding him while they were doubling Odell on the other side. That's not going to happen this year. So you're going to see Sterling Shepard take the next step. Now comes all that money that he has. And here's what I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to let it be known right now.
T.Y. Hilton, didn't he not?
Yes, he did. He sold T.Y. to, I believe it was Dennis, right? He sold T.Y. to Dennis for $37. And then he also sold Tom Brady to me. And he sold Tom Brady to me for $40. The man knows what he's doing. Well, he knows what he's doing. He's taking care of business. He has the cap that he needs. And I'm telling you guys this right now. I don't care. I'll blow up his game plan. The man's going to have a big 3. He's going to have a big 3. So nobody in this league is going to stop him from doing so. He will have that.
Well,
and yes?
Yeah, if you're saying he's going with the big three, then and I am concerned for him. We've seen the big three. I've done the big.
You're
three.
the king of the big three, so don't tell me you're concerned for him. You're the king of the big three.
King of three of a kind.
It hasn't worked. I'll be honest. It hasn't worked. Have I won a chip? No. You look at a couple of other teams that have assembled big threes. Have they won chips? Not really. You know what I mean? I mean, it takes more than a big three. I mean, if he's looking to get into the playoffs and be a contender, he'll definitely be a contender. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But big threes just don't. You need more than big threes, unfortunately. It's really hard to acquire more talent, especially in this drafting pool, and especially when you have another two teams in the pot bidding. It's just going to be very difficult for him to assemble.
Yep, agreed. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. There's no way it's going to be easy, but it's possible. It can be done, and I think
it can be done. It's been done before.
Exactly, and I think in the fact that he's in your division, to be able to compete in your division where you have, I believe, the likes of Rich, who was in the championship last year. You have Dennis, who's a champion in the past. He has you, who I think you've been to the championship game 3 times. You have Dom, who's won a championship before. That division is stacked. So he has to load up. He has to load up. And that's what he's going to do. And I think he's going to do a darn good job of it. He's going to get his big three, and then he's going to spend the rest of the money wisely. He's going to have keepers for next year. So his goal this year is to be competitive. But if he's not competitive, he is going to still have his keepers. I can tell you that right now. I've heard what he's planning to do. I've seen it. And it's something that it's a good plan. Whether injuries derail that is a whole nother story. But I'm just speaking in regards to getting that big three. If he gets that big three, watch out. Especially if this Cam Newton thing, if Cam Newton has this good year. Again, I always say that. I say this every year. And I've been right so far. Cam Newton's always good one year, bad another year. Good one year, bad another year. He was bad last year. He was good the year before. So he's due this year to be good. So, with that being said, we have one team left. And this team, he just can't seem to get out of his own way. He really can't. And this is my main man, Pots and Pans, Lewis. Lewis! Anthony, you know what?
Yes.
I've had Steve go first. Steve, you want to have Anthony go first, or you want to? What do you want to do here?
I'll just recap it real quick, and then I'll throw it over to Anthony. Okay. So, I mean, Lewis, real quickly, he's got a lot of players to choose from, it looks like. So it looks kind of crazy right now.
No, he doesn't.
He has... I mean, there's a lot. There's Russell Wilson for 15. He could pick.
No, he doesn't.
Le'Veon Bell for 42. Brandon Marshall for 19. Golden Tate for 5. Emmanuel Sanders for 6. Delaney Walker for 7. Dion Lewis for 6. Justin Tucker 2. Deshaun Jackson he bought. He still has for 2. Excuse me. Rashad Jennings for 5. Jordan Matthews for 3. D'Angelo Williams for 2. Which so likely he'll probably pick, I don't know, most likely Bell, Marshall, and looks like Deshaun, most likely. Correct me if I'm wrong. Go ahead, Anthony.
No. Please finish your point, please.
No, I don't have a point. I'm just recapping like these are all the players he has to choose from.
He's not choosing from anybody. Everyone else can go. Everyone.
Okay.
Right. Williams does not have a job. Williams don't got a job. Jordan Matthews is now the 4th target in Philadelphia. Jennings doesn't have a job. Jackson, 4th target. Kicker's a kicker. Dion Lewis, they got a bunch of weapons. Not there yet. Maybe Delaney Walker, Emmanuel Sanders, their quarterback sucks. They got Golden Tate, not worried about that either. Brandon Marshall, one quick point about Brandon Marshall. Me and Jesus have talked about this before. For him as well. I counter that by saying that everywhere he goes to, when he went to Miami, was at Denver, went to Chicago, he was always the number 1 option. The very first time he's not going to be the number 1 option, and he's in his early 30s. Some of the targets are going to go away from Odell, but then you got to feed Marshall a bit, but not a lot. He'd be a red zone target because you still got to feed Ingram, and you still got to feed Shepard. And also, still got to feed Perkins. There's a lot more mouths feeding off than they did before. Okay. Russell did okay, but we talked about it all season. Like, you really need to go find yourself another quarterback. Russell just was not getting the job done. I don't know how much of an improvement he's going to have over this year. Le'Veon Bell is either the first, second, or third best running back in fantasy, which makes him either the first, second, or third best player in fantasy, period. He is the only guy worth keeping. Everyone else can go. You ain't got to sell him. You ain't got to trade him. Everyone else can go. Because once you have a guy like that, you know you're guaranteed at least 15 or 20 points per game with him. That's great. You're trying to get at least 80 to 90. If you flush out the rest of your roster, get some real talent in there, find another quarterback that's going to be open and feasible. But with Lewis, it's almost like this. It's like he has a broken, like, lucky horseshoe. Like, you get him, you look at the roster, like, okay, this can work. But then all of a sudden, it never works out. Bell worked out great, but, he missed the first 2 games because, well, the man likes drugs. You had Russell Wilson. He started off slow. Then he started picking up, and by the time it was too late, Walker was consistent. Deshaun Jackson was inconsistent. Jordan Matthews was inconsistent. You take the one shiny little nugget, you keep and hold on to that. You build everything else around him. I don't know. I hope so. It makes the most logical sense. I want Lewis to get into this because I like the guy. We've gone over. We've had hamburgers and beer. We've learned to be good friends. But he got to step it up. Now, I'm hoping that he heeds to my advice, since Jesus says this is a show where we give out fantasy advice. That's my advice. Flush everyone else down the toilet. Keep your one little golden ticket in it. But
look,
you know what? I'm stopping.
Can I go next?
Go ahead.
Hand too. Good for you.
All right. Yeah. All right. Look, I respectfully agree with the Le'Veon Bell. That's a no-brainer. We know he's going to rebring Le'Veon Bell. That's a no-brainer. He's the best back out there. He's on his team. It's done. But to me, he has another one to play with. Why not pick up Deshaun Jackson for $2? He's with the Bucks. He's a number 2 option. He's going to be better than $2 on your team. That's actually a very good value keeper. Is he your future guy for the next 3, 4, 5 years? Of course not. But is he a good startup, a good person to kind of bring along, to kind of help you get to the promised land, to secure at the very least a flex spot for your team? Absolutely. Deshaun Jackson's a great flex spot for $2.
Yeah, but
so in my opinion, wheels.
He's 15 1 week, 2, 3, 2, 15, 2, 3. 8.
But for a flex player, I mean, if he can get you 10 and 9, and I think Deshaun Jackson will at least give him 9, 10. And yes, Lewis is going to have to be smart and learn the matchups, and there are going to be matchups he's going to have to take. He's going to have to bench him. But Deshaun Jackson, to me, is a very valuable asset for $2. I would keep him for $2 because I know I can plug him into something else. Because you're right, everybody else on this roster, I'm not keeping Wilson for 15. I'm not keeping Marshall for 19. And everybody else, you've made great points for, and they're absolutely true. You shouldn't waste your time. But for me, Deshaun Jackson is at least a wide receiver 2 flex spot position. Because he's going to get the deep balls. He's getting Jameis, and the Bucks have said that they're going to throw immensely this year. So why not have him there as a backup? And then yes, I mean, the thing with Lewis, and the problem that I have with Lewis every year, is he continues to try to create the big 3 model and fails to do it correctly. And he's got to think a different strategy this year. I mean, it's great. Yeah, it's nice to go up and buy these big time players, but he's been doing it before. Nothing's been happening. And, I would just hope that he really thinks and starts thinking, all right, I need to start getting, not the top best receiver. For me, I know he's going to want to go after an Odell Beckham Jr., but I would say don't waste your time. Try to get yourself a guy like, for example, Dez Bryant, you know what I mean? Or start around the Amari Cooper range or something like that, you know what I mean? Don't go swing out of the gates and try to get the best at every position and then be broke and have no money because we've seen time and time again he doesn't know how to spend his money correctly when he gets down to little money. So if you don't know how to do that,
he needs a GM.
Then don't put yourself in that position, and I think that's how he gets better.
All right. I mean, poor Lewis. Lewis, I apologize. I mean, these two guys obviously just don't like you. But you know who does? I'm a fan of Lewis. I
like the guy.
I believe in the dream killers. I believe in the dream and dreams being killed. I do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say something positive for you. First and foremost, you're going to keep Le'Veon Bell at $42. Have to. Obviously. I mean, yes. I don't think that's any surprise.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Then what you're going to do is you're going to let everybody else go on your roster except for Justin Tucker. At $44 you have committed, and you keep nobody else. This whole Steve talking about he's gonna give you 9 to 10 points. That's baloney. And that's what I'm saying baloney because
for
you know
Deshaun Jackson?
this is a
for
kids
Deshaun
network.
Jackson.
I'm pretty sure I said for Deshaun Jackson.
Oh my God! You're saying there's not going to be a point where he'll give him above 9 points.
Of course he will. Of course he will. But you'll never know what week that is. But you'll never know what week that is. You never know. No, you'll never know. Stop it. Just take a look at his career. I understand he's a Buccaneer, Steve. I get it. Your heart. You're talking with your heart right now. I completely understand that.
It's not even my heart. The guy still puts up points.
Yes, he does. The problem is you just don't know when he's going to put up the points.
Matchups, he'll get the plays.
You never know when he's going to get it because he's relying on the big play. You never know when he's going to get the big plays. Okay? So back to what I was trying to say. You don't keep Deshaun Jackson because what happens is if you keep Deshaun Jackson, now that's a $20 tax. So in essence, Deshaun Jackson costs you $22.
No, it's not. It's not. You let Justin Tucker go. You don't need Justin Tucker.
I haven't looked this up, and I'm going to look it up. But I would dare say Justin Tucker probably averaged more points.
Accurate.
I would probably say he may, and again, this is a complete guess, but I'm going to dare say he averaged more points per game in our league than Deshaun Jackson.
I want to know.
You want to know? Okay. All right. So while I'm looking it up, you go ahead and filibuster here while I look it up.
Wait. Okay, let's make it quick. Deshaun Jackson,
7.4 points per game. 7.4 points per game.
Deshaun Jackson finished
7.4 points per game. That's a $2 player.
All right. And do you know how much Justin Tucker averaged last year?
Was there.
Do you know how much Justin Tucker averaged last year? It was more than 7.4. It was more than 8.4.
But how many other kickers average more than 7.4?
It was okay.
There's a lot.
There was only 2 kickers that averaged double digits last year. Justin Tucker was one of them, my friend.
Do you know? Who outscored him? Outscored him. Kenny Britt, Jamison Crowder.
Oh, keep going. Thielen, keep going.
Mike Wallace.
Keep going.
You gotta get him a body.
Golden Tate outscored him
for $2. I'm not saying it's $5. I'm saying $2 for Deshaun Jackson.
I hear you, Steve. I hear you, but I think you're talking a little bit with your heart here. That's the only problem. I'm not saying. Here's what I will say. If he's drafting during the draft that Deshaun Jackson's there for $2, then yes, you take him. That's fine. You take him at that point in time. But you don't risk losing. But you don't risk losing a kicker that gives you double digits per game for a guy who is a so-so receiver. I'm sorry, you just don't do it. You just don't do that. That's the difference here.
I respectfully disagree. I feel like you can find just a good enough field goal kicker for $1.
5 catches, 96 yards, 1 touchdown against the Giants in week 3. Week 4 against Cleveland, 1 catch, 5 yards. Against Baltimore, 3 catches, 35 yards. Against Philly, 4 catches, 55 yards. Detroit, 5 for 35. Then 3 for 48. Then 4 boom or bust. It is way more bust than boom at this point of his career.
Guys, I'm not saying he's a top 10 receiver. I'm saying he's worth the $2. That's what I'm saying.
20 receiver. He's barely a top 30 receiver. He's on the line.
He's worth $2. He's worth $2.
I just think you're being a little emotional. But with that being said,
if he's worth $2, you go trade for him. Trade for him. You
have
love
fun.
him so much.
Have fun. Yep, go have fun.
I would if he's willing to give him to me for $2. I'll take him off his hand for sure.
Lewis, you got to trade here. Take the $2.
No, because then the problem is then he can't keep Justin Tucker. That he can't do that.
Hey.
Anyways, all right. So let's get back. That's why
you're in a tight spot.
So real quick, so Lewis, what you want to do is once you go ahead and you lock up those two guys, your next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go and you're gonna get yourself a quarterback, and you're gonna get yourself a good quarterback, whether it's Jameis Winston if he's out there, whether it's I'm trying to think off the top of my head any other top flight quarterback. You could try to bring Russell Wilson back if you want. Dak Prescott, go after Dak Prescott.
Whoa.
Yes.
Winston ain't gonna be there. Continue.
So you're telling me that you're gonna let go of David Johnson? Yeah, exactly.
Continue.
Exactly. That's what I thought. So, back to our point. So, with that being said, real quick, I just want to go ahead and I want to inform the league. Pops has decided what the draft order is going to be. So, let me go ahead and let me just let you all know. Number 1, obviously, is Pops. Number 2 is his son, Dennis. Number 3 is Sean. Number 4 is Gabe. Number 5 is myself. Number 6 is Dom. Number 7 is Anthony. Number 8 is Steve. Number 9 is Rich, and number 10 is Lewis. Steve caught some feelings. He got a little butthurt about it because, I'm Pops' number one. I didn't get butthurt.
I'm just calling the facts, my friend.
I'm Pops' number one nemesis, and somehow he still gave me the number 5 pick. Pops, I really appreciate you. Don't worry about it. That check will be in the mail for you. I got you. And then lastly, guys, the possible rule change. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible with this. I haven't decided yet, but we are considering adding, instead of normal waivers, that has not worked the past several years. The waivers are not helping teams that are on the bottom of the barrels. So what we may consider doing is having a bidding system in place where each team will get a total cap of $100 to start the season. And that is for the entire season. And you would do a blind bid on waivers each Tuesday night. Wednesday, whoever had the most would then win the player. The good thing that this does is this creates kind of a sense of the unknown, right? The unknown for everybody. So I'm not going to know how much you bid. Nobody's going to know how much you bid. So I'm literally going to put a number and hope that maybe I can get the guy. And if you try to get cute and say, I'm going to spend $50 on this guy in week 2, guess what? You have $50 for the rest of the season. So it's something to think about. I haven't fully decided yet, but we shall see. With that,
are we discussing this? Is there?
I mean, if like we have like 2 minutes, and then we could discuss it off air. But if you want to say a quick comment about it, go ahead, and then we'll discuss the rest off air. I know I caught you by surprise.
I'm interested. I'm interested to kind of understand why this is putting into effect. I mean, are we seeing the teams from the bottom complain or the teams at the top complain?
Nobody's complaining. This is okay. When you in life, right? And this is how I feel about companies. Sometimes what companies is they don't make change until last second. That's the bad way to do business. You always want to stay ahead of the curve, right? And you should always be looking at trends. If you look at the trend the last several years, teams that have started out poorly haven't been able to turn it around. It's rare that they're able to turn around. I believe only 2 teams ever in our history of our league have been able to make the playoffs after starting 1-3 or 1-4, right? So it's just that the numbers show that it's not good. So this is an option here that it kind of gives those teams another opportunity to go ahead. And again, the $100 cap, now everybody has a shot. It's not predictable every week. Okay, this team that's 0-6, they're gonna get the top guy no matter what. You're not gonna have that now. And also, to the fact is, our league is a bidding league. It's a bidding league. That's what we do. So it's something to consider. Since we are a bidding league, why not bid for free agents? And I'm sorry, not free agents. If the player is a free agent, then you automatically just pick him up. It's only if he's a waiver wire player.
Gotcha. I mean, I don't know. To me, I'm not a fan of bidding for free agents. Just my quick 2 cents. I mean, I feel like if you're the bottom of the barrel team, you know, it's your chance to fight to get back into it. You didn't draft well. That's kind of, it's really your own mistake. If you start out 1-5, I've started out 1-5 before. I had no one else to look at but myself and how I managed my team, how I coached my team, how I plugged it in. I got the best waiver wire pick. that 1 year that I started out of the gate slow. But, to me, I just don't think it's worth it. I think, a bidding system, maybe some of the top guys would like it. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying for the integrity of the league, I don't see it happening. It rewards the people who are smart, so I get that sense, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it.
Well,
That's
we'll see. We'll see. This is something, again, I haven't fully decided yet, so we shall see. But that's our show. Steve and I will continue to discuss this off air. You guys all stay safe, be safe. We are out. Peace. Next week we'll be back, by the way, guys, for the next 3 teams.
Peace.